Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. Hello and welcome on board for our episode 28 of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. This is your captain and host speaking, Geoff at Geoff Willis, and each week I'll be taking flight to talk fantasy Premier League football. You can find the show on a whole host of podcast services. Just search Captain's Pick. Please leave a review, like, share and subscribe. On today's show, I'll give a quick review of Game Week 27, talk transfers, chip strategy in my Captain's Pick, and I'll finish off with a quick preview of Game Week 28. But first, as ever, a quick shout out to the half-season Community League, which started scoring back in Game Week 20 and was set up to raise money and awareness for Cancer Research UK. A quick shout out to Alan Seaborn, who is our new number one with a great 66 points in this game week. Really competitive top 10 we have in the league. And this is your last reminder that I will be closing the league before the next game week starts, before this weekend coming. So if you want to join the league code is 1010060-1308938. That league code and the page to the Just Giving for Cancer Research UK is all in the description of this podcast and in the podcast Twitter bio. Okay, so let's dive quickly into Game Week 27. The game weeks are coming thick and fast. The Game Week 28 deadline is tonight, so that's Tuesday, 6:45. I'll remind you again at the end of the pod. Game Week 27, I got 40 points. I took a -4, so 36 overall. Average points was 35. And I made 3 transfers, obviously taking that -4 point hit. And I had about a 15k drop to 346,000. Didn't think it was going to be too great this game week. Just needed to hit my captaincy, which I didn't. If I had done that, I probably would have got a small green arrow. But it turned out as a small red arrow. Only points coming from Robertson, who got a clean sheet and 2 bonus points. So he got 8 points. Doherty with an assist, so he got 5 points. And Rondon, who I brought in, can't believe it, got a goal and assist, all 3 bonus points. One of the best transfers I've made this season. 12 points coming in for him. My other transfer was Punchin. Unfortunately, Huddersfield got a man sent off, which meant Punchin got substituted after 23 minutes to replace the defender who got red carded. So he only got a point, but he was very much in for Hazard as an enabler. And the main man, Aubameyang, brought him in, captained him, and of course he didn't start, came on for the last 20 minutes, did nothing. As I mentioned on the last pod, was always going to be a little risk. Did think there was a chance he might not start, but I was prepared to go with that risk. And of course Lacazette did start and got a goal. So did mention that maybe should go for Lacazette. Bit more of a gamble on Aubameyang, but there we go. Didn't pay off, but we'll see in the next game, in Game Week 28, another home game. Aubameyang sure to start. We'll see over those 2 game weeks whether it was the right decision to bring in Aubameyang or Lacazette. So yeah, 40 points overall. And I'll quickly go on to now my Game Week 28 team as it stands. So my City and Everton players come back into my starting lineup after that blank. So currently I have Fabianski in goal, who West Ham got Man City away. I think Man City will win this game, but hoping for some save points from Fabianski. Robertson, Liverpool, Watford at home. again, looking for decent stuff from Robertson. Doherty, Huddersfield away, could get all manner of points. Doherty there. Be nice to get a clean sheet from him. And Luca Dean come back into the side. Everton have got Cardiff away. This could well be his last game in my squad. Everton have got tricky fixtures coming up. Liverpool at home coming up. So really left him in the team for this fixture, and so hopefully he can do well before he potentially leaves. Same with Richarlison, kept him in over the blanks to play him against Cardiff away. Obviously Cardiff just lost 5-1 to Watford, so they're not in great form at the moment, so I'm hoping Everton can do well. Again, could be Richarlison's last game in my team. Then I've got Sane. Sane comes back. Crucially, only played about 20 minutes in the Carabao Cup final, so I think he's sure to start, but you never know with Pep. But I could see him doing really well against West Ham, who they've got at home. And then Pogba, Crystal Palace away. Pretty tricky fixture. Palace have been in good form. Still expect Pogba to do well there, but may not be the points haul quite like he's been having. And then Salah, Watford at home, did really good in this fixture in the past. He's currently my vice-captain. Could well be a mistake not to captain him. He's probably the safe pick. There'll be a lot of people going for him, but I'm going to keep the armband on Aubameyang. So I'm going to play the double up risk 2 game weeks in a row. I'm going to all my chips in the Aubameyang pile with Arsenal playing Bournemouth home. Bournemouth so leaky away from home. Definitely expect Aubameyang to start. Lacazette may start with him. So I'm going for a big Aubameyang haul, and just hopefully he outscores Salah. If Aubameyang does nothing and Salah goes big, then I'm going to have a huge overall rank drop. But if the reverse happens, Aubameyang does well. He's a lot less owned than Salah. If Salah doesn't do well, and he'll be highly captained, then that could see me shoot back up the overall rankings. It's time to get a little bit risky and go for some bolder moves, I think. Rondon, perfect game week because I brought him in last week. Burnley at home for Newcastle. Expecting more good things from him. Rashford's currently got a flag. Picked up a little bit injury in that Liverpool game. He's going to start for me, but he may not play. He may be on the subs bench. But at least this week I've got options on the bench. So Bednarek, Southampton have got Fulham at home. Could be a clean sheet there. Happy to have him as first sub. Puncheon as second sub. Huddersfield Wolves at home. So I've got two decent, okay options on the bench there that could come in for Rashford, and if anyone else picks up a last minute injury or gets dropped. Wan-Bissaka looks still to be injured. He's my third sub, but I say Man United at home, not too bad a fixture to miss out for him. In terms of transfers then, looking to roll my transfer this week. Pretty happy with my starting 11 and a couple of playing subs there. Pretty decent fixtures. Definitely looking to roll a transfer which plays into my chip strategy, which I'll briefly go into now. So I'm looking at building a team up to game week 31, which there'll be blanks in that match, in that game week. There'll be free hitting in game week 32, wildcarding in game week 34, bench boosting in 35, with still a triple captain chip to use. Probably going to be used in a single game week, in one of the single game weeks between now and the end of the season. Maybe even last game of the season to try and get me over the line in some of my mini leagues. So that's a brief look into my chip strategy, but I'll definitely be going into more depth and detail once we have a little bit more time between game weeks coming up in the next week or so. And so that's pretty much the preview I want to give for game week 28. Big points hopefully coming from that Arsenal-Bournemouth game. Chelsea, Spurs, who knows what's going to happen in that game. Harry Kane is back, scored last game week for Spurs. Chelsea going to be tied off that Carabao Cup 120 minutes and then losing on penalties. So it'll be interesting to see who plays in that match. Likewise with City, could be some rotation there, but I still fancy them to do well against West Ham. Liverpool at home to Watford, could see them bouncing back nicely against Watford, though Watford have been in good form, so never too sure what kind of side is going to turn up for Watford there. And it'll be interesting. Leicester at home to Brighton. The Leicester manager Pure got sacked on Sunday, so we'll see if there's a sort of a new manager or caretaker manager bounce back from Leicester. I'll be definitely looking at some of their options, Pereira, Maddison, Vardy, because they've got some really decent game week fixtures coming up. So I'll be keeping a close eye on them. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to land the show. Again, we've only got a few hours till the game week 28 deadline, which is tonight, Tuesday, at 6:45 p.m. Let's say game weeks are coming thick and fast, but hopefully you'll be able to get a bit of a longer podcast out in the next week or so. A bit more time between game weeks, and then we can get a little bit more in depth with chip strategy over the blanks and doubles. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the show to either the podcast Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod or the podcast email address captainspickpod@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening to this in-flight podcast. I've been your captain. Good luck with game week 28, and until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you. Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.